Hey, what is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am super excited to be able to talk with you and share with you something that I've learned from talking to many people who have dabbled, who have succeeded, and who have learned a lot from the world of network marketing. And you might be saying to yourself, well, Chris, why are we going to talk about network marketing when, we've been talking about building a side business? And is a side business network marketing? Well, it could be. And some of you have actually even tried it before. But here's the thing. I've never had really any success in network marketing. What I have had is the opportunity to meet a lot of people who have, and some people who are still at the top of their game today. And I've gotten an opportunity to kind of find out, like, why is it that some people have had success? What are some of those lessons? And guess what? I've been able to compile about 5 different lessons that I think would apply to all of us. Specifically because in talking to people who've done network marketing, who found success, who've had failures, I have found some things that tend to reign true for all of us. And I want to share those with you today. So while you're watching this, while you're listening to this, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, wherever you get your ear hustle on and wherever you watch visually, I'm glad you're here. And let's go ahead and dive right in, because I don't want you to miss like what's really possible here, because there's a lot of things that I've learned that really kind of, helped me go, wow. In talking to some people, I've learned a lot of things from different folks. So let's get started, okay? So here's the thing I want us to know. Now, in my upcoming book, From Side Hustle to Side Business, How to Take Any Product or Service and Turn It into Stories, Success, and Sales, I actually talk a little bit about, like, if you've decided or ever thought about that, maybe I want to try direct sales, or maybe I want to try my hand at network marketing, I've given you a few steps and some things that you want to be aware of before you choose to go down that path, if that's something that you want to do when it comes to building you a particular side business. However, there are some things and some lessons that I've learned. And if you like this, let me know. Leave a 5-star review, leave a comment down below, because we can even dive even deeper into this conversation, because there's so many things that I want to unpack, but I just kind of want to go through the lessons and talking to people who've been here. All right. So let's get started. Okay. So this is the 5 lessons, 5 things I've learned from talking to people, and the 5 lessons from network marketing. Okay. So with that being said, let's get to it. The very first thing that I want to share is one that I have learned, not only just in building a business, but man, every single successful person and people who have failed, I have learned, have taught me this one valuable lesson. And that is, number 1 is the power of building a community. And I'm going to tell you something about building a community. Isn't it interesting now, more than ever, that in all walks of life, there are little communities everywhere you go? I mean, I want you to think about just your life, right? Like, think about how many different small mini communities you're a part of, right? And I want you to think about, how did you get into those communities? How did you get into your neighborhood HOA? How did you get into, the play dates that you do with your kids? How did you get into being a soccer mom? How did you get into, right, like things at your church or your place of worship, right? How did you get into your chess club? How did you get into your badminton or pickleball, right? Or basketball? Every single area that you go into has a community. For those of you who like couponing, there's a couponing community, right? But my point is, one of the things that I've heard and one of the things I've learned is that the power of building a community is paramount from what you learn inside of doing network marketing. Why? Because it is called a network, right? And we market to the network. And so if you're in network marketing, you got to understand that part of the game you're playing is to really understand that whatever your product or service is, the job is to go and market that particular product or service to your network and obviously grow that network. But there's power in that. It moves companies. Do you realize that companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, Android devices, right? There's an Android community versus Apple, right? There's a Mac community versus PC. There's a Windows versus iOS. My whole point is there's communities in every walks of life. And one of the things that being a part of network marketing, you realize very quickly that what applies to all of us, if we really want to scale our own businesses, you got to get really good at building communities, right? I don't care if your business is in construction. Are you new construction? Are you rehabs? Are you multifamily? Right? Like, you got to find your community, the people that like talking about the things that you do. Are you a contractor? Right? Or do you pull together teams? Are you a project manager? The whole point is, I think we've seen over the last 10 years for sure, the power of community is crucial to your business. It's crucial because it educates your customers. It's crucial because it gives you the opportunity to educate new people. It's also crucial because you get to test things to see within that community if this is something that the overall market might actually want, right? So the power of building community is a big one. Here is the second one. The second one is just as important because once you learn the power of building a community, here's what you got to get really good at. Influencing people. And all of the people that I talk to, and all of the folks who are doing network marketing, the one thing that either they struggle with or the one thing that they've gotten pretty good at is learning how to influence people. Now, here's the thing. You need to know how to influence people whether you're working as a solopreneur or whether you're working with a team of 5 in your company or 50 or 500 or 5,000. You have to know, how do I move people from where we are to where we want to go? How do I influence a potential customer to go from just looking at us to actually purchasing? How do I go from that customer just from purchasing to actually sharing their experience, right? Like, it's all about moving people, and there's tons of books out there and resources that you can put your hands on in order to get better at this. But if there's any place that people have learned how to influence people, it's definitely within the world of network marketing. And here's the thing. If you want to get better at influencing people and you have a traditional business, or you're selling a product or service, or your products are all digital, here's the thing I want you to know. Your ability to be able to influence people has a lot to do with how open you are to lots of other ways, ideas, and beliefs. Yep, it is. See, here's the interesting thing that most people don't realize. We want a result when it comes to building our business, right? Like, we want something to happen. Like, we're like, oh, I want this in my business, or I want to have people do this for me, right? Or I want to make this sale. Have you ever purchased anything that was, have you ever purchased anything that was like of value, right? Like, the key is you've got to be willing to look at what you do today and say, I want people to purchase something that's of premium value from me, but have I ever purchased anything of premium value from other people? Have I gone to a small business and purchased some premium product or service, right? Because we all go to big brands and purchase premium things all the time. Louis Vuitton and Gucci and cars and whatever, right? Like, you do it with the big boys. Have you done it with a small business before? See, I only ask the question because a lot of times when we talk about influencing people, the first thing is, can we influence ourselves enough to go out there and actually do something that is a little bit different, right? Can we do something that's different, that's actually going to allow us to be able to grow and build a better business, right? So, Terrell, what's going on? Thanks for watching, man. So here's the key. Here's the key I want you to understand about influencing people. Influence you first. Allow yourself to be open to new ideas. Allow yourself to see how a small business has moved people from potential customer to customer. go get involved with that particular company. I don't mean like you got to go work for them, but you could purchase something from a lot of different small companies, and then you could learn how to reverse engineer, right? Maybe you like the process that you worked with that small business and how they actually got you to purchase their product, right? Like, but the idea of wanting to influence people and you're not open, you can't ask other people to be open if you're not, right? So that's that. And I could go on and talking about, influencing people, but that's really important. So, my little drawing here, and I know you guys are going to be like, Chris, please stop the drawing. But this is basically a platform, right? This right here is a platform, and these are all the people, right? So my point is being able to influence people is important. All right, let's do number 3. Number 3 is really interesting because some people marry the two. And I had a really good lesson learned from talking to a very successful entrepreneur, network marketer who became an entrepreneur. So here's the key. Number 3 is lots of entrepreneurs that you follow today. Lots of them. I'm talking about many of them got their start in network marketing. You'd be surprised to how many people who are doing really well as entrepreneurs got their start and their footing in network marketing. Now, some people I know are doing millions of dollars today, a month in their business, right? But guess what? They got their start in network marketing. You might ask yourself, wait a minute, isn't that the same as a network marketing being an entrepreneur the same? No, it's not. It's actually not. So let's break this down for a second. And the picture that you see there is a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. I look at the transformation of starting or going through and build. You can build a great business in network marketing, but the levels and the things that you learn as you build that business, I mean, astronomical different from the day that you start to the day that you grow. And I said that right. The day that you start and the day that you grow is really up to you. It can be 5 days, 5 years, 10 years. It could be 5 days, 5 months, 6 months. It is totally up to you, but you have to decide to grow if you want your business to grow. Isn't that just like any other business that you have though? Right? Like your current business is not going to grow beyond your ability to be able to do these things. Building a community, being able to influence people, right? Being able to learn from other companies, right? So my whole point is an entrepreneur is building a business and being able to sell a product or service to any and everyone, right? Building a community, being able to influence those people and provide value in such a way that when that entrepreneur has something to sell, people are buying it, right? Network marketing is a little different. Why? If you're a network marketer, here's some things that I've learned from talking to network marketers. First of all, you are at the behest and selling another company's product or service. They are leveraging your influence for selling said product or service. But when you make the transition to a full-time entrepreneur, you're selling your personal or your product or service, your digital product or service. And guess what? It is your skill and your ability to be able to take communities and people to be able to show them what you do, show themselves being able to do it, and them being willing to purchase from you over and over and over again. So if you know the difference and seeing the difference and understand the difference between being a network marketer and an entrepreneur, they are vastly different. And that's just like one little thing, but just understand that, a network marketer's income is capped, right? It's got meaning it's going to be capped based on whatever the sale is, right? An entrepreneur can go and create many types of products and services, right? And be able to, grow their business, right? So you got to understand the difference between when I've talked to, and I just went out and I was honestly asking people like, hey, you're a network marketer. I know you're successful. Some of these people I talk to making $300,000 a month. Some people I talk to are making $1 million a month. Some people I know are literally making 20, 30, 40, $50 million a month doing what they do. But here's how they did it. It is not a result of being a network marketer. It is because as they started in network marketing, they learned the skills that they could then become an entrepreneur and start to make that transition from crawling in network marketing to being able to fly as a full-fledged entrepreneur. And that's why you see the caterpillar to the butterfly. Okay? All right. There's number 3. Number 4. Number 4 is probably one that gets talked about a lot, but is really, really important to the maturation process of you as a human, your ability to live, your ability to be able to grow, and your ability to be able to truly succeed or choose to stay where you are today. And that is one word: mindset. I will tell you one of the most interesting things in talking to people who have done network marketing businesses, especially the ones who've been successful and the ones who've burned, done terrible with them. And some of these people are one and the same, right? You know, one of the interesting things I learned from them is that in talking to them, their mindset has changed a lot. Meaning, like, who they were when they came into that particular business, whatever that product or service was, up until the point of who they are today, totally different people. When I say a transformation, they're different. And here's the interesting thing. They're almost always grateful for the experiences that they've gone through, even if they were terrible. And I think the reason is because there's one thing that I realize that a lot of people don't do, and I think we all need to do this in our business. I don't care what your business is, but all of us need to do this in our business today. Just keep going. Just keep going. Because here's something that I realized, that and talking to all of these people, the biggest difference was they let time catch up to their effort, their activity, and their focus. But if they didn't keep going past the disappointments, past the rejections, past the stalls, past the no income, past the barely working, past the people who quit, right? Like, my point is, they just kept going. And because they kept going, they were rewarded for pushing through, right? Like, I think the one thing, I don't care what your business is today, if you're listening to me right now, or you're watching this video, the most powerful thing you can do is learn to change your mindset and to just keep going. See, here's an inherent thing that most people found out in network marketing, and it's true in entrepreneurship as well. You're going to fail. People are going to tell you no. In fact, people are going to think you're downright crazy, right? They're going to think you're crazy. They're going to think you're nuts. They're going to be like, listen, man, stop doing that. Why don't you just go get a job? Or why don't you just focus on your job even though you're building your side business, right? Like, come on, like, go do something else. Because in their mind, they have what is known as a fixed mindset, right? And a fixed mindset person does not want to have to change. Fixed mindset people think that as long as I keep working hard, something's going to change. And I don't know about you, but if you've worked a day job for any length of time, you know you will not live out your wildest dreams by just that one day job alone. Like, we know that, but yet here's what happens. We don't like being, we don't want to be wrong internally. So we keep trying to prove ourselves right. And some of the best things I've learned in life is being able to accept when I'm wrong and make a pivot. And it's interesting because even once I made that pivot, I'm like, why was that so hard? Like, why did I make this difficult? I made it difficult because I wasn't willing to accept that I was wrong. I wasn't willing to accept that I might have to go learn something new. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what your business is. This lesson from those who've done network marketing, I'm gonna tell you, it's one of the greatest things ever. And so what they realize is, you know the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset thinks success comes from talent. Either I'm smart or dumb. I don't like challenges. Failure means I can't do it. Feedback is a personal attack to me. If you succeed, then I feel threatened. If something's too hard, I give up. That's a fixed mindset. And unfortunately, many of us are trying to run side businesses or run our full-time operations using that thinking and frustrated at the same time and wondering why it's not working. Versus a growth mindset. A growth mindset says success is going to come from my effort. I can grow my intelligence. This is a small side note. But one of the things that I notice about myself, that I'm constantly fighting myself in the mirror about, and every day I wake up, is this idea that I know enough right now to be successful. Y'all, if you think that way, that is a great giveaway that you're probably going to struggle for quite some time. Here's what I mean. If you're not learning anything new, if you're not like growing, so I'll give you a perfect example. So I got some new books recently. Here's one, The 5 a.m. Club, Robin Sharma. Got the other book too, Mastery, right? Like I got them as a bundle. But if you're not reading, if you're not learning from other people, if you're not taking in others' perspectives about what you're doing, if you're not listening to outside counsel other than yourself, you are really going to struggle. And then what we'll say is it didn't work. No, you don't realize that you can act, or you haven't accepted that you have to grow your intelligence. You have to get smarter you have to get better at your skill set. You might even have to add some skill set. And I'm going to tell you one of the biggest things about mindset when talking to these network marketers, you have to be willing to unlearn some beliefs that worked for you in a season that will not work for you in order to be able to move your life and business forward. That is just the truth, okay? So I wanted to share this because I think sometimes we don't understand just how powerful mindset is, right? So growth mindset continues to say, failure means I'm learning. If I'm failing, I'm learning. Do you realize that there are so many people who today you might look at and you might admire for whatever they're doing in their business? But what you don't have is the perspective of how many days, months, years, and hours they spent failing, trying this, trying that, going from this thing to that thing, stuck it out with this, didn't work, failed, made 10 steps forward, dropped back 25, kept pushing, and finally something broke through. Like, we don't get that story all the time of people that were watching their results today, right? But failure means I'm learning. Don't run from the failure. Don't feel personally attacked from the failure. Go, what can I learn, and get right back up and go back and do it again, right? Feedback helps me grow. If you succeed, then I'm inspired. If you see somebody in your same industry doing the same thing that you're doing in the community that you're learning from, and they're succeeding, be inspired by that. Go, if they did it, so can I. I keep trying even when I'm frustrated. That's growth mindset. That is growth mindset. And it's really important, especially in today's world where it's very noisy, right? And if you spend any time on social media or your favorite platform, or you're constantly bombarded with negativity, it's really easy to get bogged down and weighted down by those negative ideas or other people's failures. But here's the thing I want you to know. In talking to these network marketers, what I really found very interesting is that they took full control and ownership of of their life and their business. And they did not blame somebody else for their failure, but they were willing to give credit to other people who helped them when they succeeded. And I think that's a great lesson no matter what your business is. Okay. Now, number five. Number five is really interesting because I know there's no more room on the screen, but this is one we're just going to talk about because I really didn't have a picture for it. But here's number five, and I want you to understand why this is probably just as powerful of a lesson as any of the other four. And let's just recap all five of them, or four of them so far, and then we'll talk about number five. Number one, the power of building a community. Man, everybody's doing it now. Network marketing figured that out a long time ago, and the people who are successful and the people who failed realize, man, there's very big power in building a community. Number two, you have to be able to influence people. Influencing is a skill that you can learn. So go learn it, right? Number three, lots of entrepreneurs today got their start in network marketing. Okay? Lots of them. But it was a place where they developed and learned the basic skills that they needed that helped them get off the ground when they decided to run and do a full-time entrepreneurship journey. And number four, mindset. The mindset of some of the people who are very successful in network marketing that I've talked to, they are, it will sound foreign when you hear them talk. It will sound like, oh, they're just hype. Oh, they're just trying to be. And one of the things you got to learn really quickly about some people in life, they actually believe what they're saying. Can I give you an example? Elon Musk made his initial money off of a few investments back in the day. This is pre-Tesla, right? Pre-SpaceX. Made his money, right? Made I think it was somewhere around the tune of 200-300 million, right? And he turned right around and said, hey, I'm going to build the world's first luxury EV car because I believe we're killing the planet and I want to do something about it. And I think cars is a good way to start. And it's going to be the first luxury car. And guess what? People are going to buy it and they're going to love it. And then guess what? I'm going to also dive into, space, right? Because clearly we should have been there by now. We should be doing more. And he said, I'm going to use all the money that I got right now that I've just won from all these investments that have paid off. And most people thought Elon is crazy. Elon, you just won. You just made $200-300 million. Why would you go invest? And he invested all of his money. Here's the thing about an Elon and some of these people that I've talked to in network marketing or other people. It doesn't matter. I'm just talking about network marketing because those are people I interviewed and I talked to. Do you realize they really believe in everything they're saying? See, they have a belief that is uncommon to the natural, to regular day life, but I guarantee you is a yearning in most people. They really believe that they can transform their lives and the lives of other people. They really believe that there's enough money out here for everybody. They really believe in their ability to grow a big business. That sounds crazy to the person who's playing it safe. That sounds crazy to the person who's choosing not to stretch themselves. That sounds crazy in the general public. But when you get around a cheetah who's hungry, I bet you'd also notice how differently they move too. Right? So my point is mindset is everything. So here's number five. Number five is just as important. In talking to all these network marketers, here's what they found out. What worked doesn't anymore. It's just true. What worked doesn't anymore. And their ability to be able to pivot as technology changes, as systems and ideas change, man, I will tell you, people in network marketing are really good at that. They're willing to pivot. They're willing to change directions. When they don't wait, they don't need to play it safe, and they're typically willing to be first. right? So, and here's something that's interesting. I think for many of us, sometimes the reason why I know a lot of times the reason why I struggle with my podcast, why I struggle with my coaching business, why I struggle with any of the things that I've ever done is because I saw something changing, but I wasn't willing to change. Why? Because it goes back to what I said earlier. Some of us don't want to be wrong to ourselves. So we're going to keep trying harder at something that's not working instead of being willing to pivot and change to something that is. So when something doesn't work anymore, are you willing to change? You know, it's interesting. Before we had the internet, most companies, Yellow Pages, right? Taxi, everything else, right? Everything else was just the way it was. And the internet disrupted every single business known to man. The mobile experience changed website design, changed the consumer business forever. And those who got on board figured it out. And they won, especially if they did it early. But those who chose not to do it because, oh, that's a trend, right? Like people said hip hop was a trend. Well, that stuck around, didn't it? Right? People said, oh, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, that'll never stick around. Well, 10 billion served, right? Or however many billion Facebook has, right? But the point is, like, or I think it's 3 billion people are on Facebook, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think sometimes we don't realize that one of the best things you can do is if you understand what worked doesn't anymore. And if you're willing to accept that about every facet of your business, especially when you see it coming, or when you get wise counsel and you find out, hey, maybe you need to change this system out, or maybe you need to change this approach, or maybe you need to change how you do it over here because these things are changing, you might want to listen. So I hope this was helpful to you. These are the 5 things to learn from those in network marketing. 5 different lessons. If these lessons helped you, do me a favor. Drop a comment below wherever you are watching this video. Also, please help us. We are trying to grow this podcast, and I can't do that without your help. Your review on whatever device you listen on is paramount. It is awesome. It is definitely helpful. And just so you know, my upcoming book, From Side Hustle to Side Business, How to Take Any Product or Service and Turn It into Story of Success and Sales, is available for pre-order right now. Go to From Side Hustle to SideBusiness.com. From Side Hustle to SideBusiness.com. Go get your advanced pre-order copy. And man, I hope this video and this information was valuable to you today. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Share this, smash that like button, and I will see you in the next video.